5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Being aggrieved by the award made by the Claims Tribunal, Jabalpur, the claimants have preferred this miscellaneous appeal for enhancement of the amount of compensation. It was not disputed that in an accident with the truck driven by the respondent number 1, owned by the respondent number 2, and insured with the respondent number 3, one Manbahadur died on 4/3/1981 at about 8 pm. After the accident, the appellants, as the wife and children of the deceased, filed a claim petition against the respondents. In the claim petition, the Claims Tribunal was pleased to award a sum of Rs 21,500 to the appellants along with interest at the rate of 6% per annum from the date of petition. Being aggrieved, the claimants have preferred this appeal for enhancement of the amount of compensation as aforesaid. Having heard the learned counsel for the parties, we are of the view that the finding recorded by the Claims Tribunal about the contributory negligence of the deceased does not call for any interference. As discussed and pointed out in paras 18 and 23 of the impugned award, the deceased was driving his bicycle in a drunken state of mind. He was hit by dala of the truck, which is generally on the rear portion of any truck. The evidence shows that the deceased was driving his bicycle in a zigzag manner, and therefore possibility cannot be ruled out that because of his drunken state of mind he could not keep himself at a safe distance from the passing truck and met with the accident. Accordingly, we further find that the Claims Tribunal was right in returning a finding that out of the total amount of compensation payable to the claimants, 1/3 of such amount is liable to be deducted from it on account of contributory negligence of the deceased. The Claims Tribunal determined the monthly income of the deceased at Rs 381. He was 35 years of age on the date of the accident and was a peon in some office. The monthly dependency of the appellants was determined at Rs 200, and accordingly, by applying the multiplier of 15 years compensation of Rs 36,000 was worked out. After so working out the amount of compensation, a sum of Rs 12,000 was deducted towards contributory negligence of the deceased, which was 1/3 of the total amount of compensation determined. Accordingly, the amount of compensation payable to the appellants was reduced to Rs 24,000. The appellants were found to have also received ex gratia payment of Rs 2,500 on account of the death of deceased Manbahadur. The Claims Tribunal further made a deduction of this amount of Rs 2,500 from the amount determined at Rs 24,000 after making deduction of 1/3 amount on account of contributory negligence of the deceased. We are of the view that such amount of ex gratia payment could not be deducted from the amount payable to the legal representatives of the deceased. Accordingly, the award deserves to be modified to that extent. We further find that the monthly dependency of the appellants was incorrectly assessed at Rs 200 per month. A person like the deceased having monthly income of Rs 381 and a family of 6 persons, 1 wife and 4 children, could not have afforded to spend a huge amount of Rs 181 per month on himself. We think the deceased might have been utilizing a sum of rupees 81 wholly as his pocket expenses. Accordingly, the dependency of the appellants ought to have been determined at rupees 300 per month by the Claims Tribunal. If so determined, the compensation payable to the appellants would work out to rupees 54,000 by applying 15 years multiple. 1/3 of this amount comes to rupees 18,000, which is liable to be deducted towards contributory negligence of the deceased. Accordingly, the compensation payable to the appellants works out to rupees 36,000 after deducting rupees 18,000 from the amount of rupees 54,000. As we have found earlier, the respondents are not entitled to claim adjustment of any amount received by the claimants towards ex gratia payment. Under the said circumstances, this appeal deserves to be partly allowed and it is hereby partly allowed. इस वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में इस पैसेज का टेक्स्ट दिया हुआ है.